everybody, to episode 6 of the Straight Talk Commerce podcast. Great to be back here with Wayne Altman and our host, Ian Slade. What's been happening this week, Ian?
Well, a lot has been going on in terms of preparing for, on my end of the woods, the HEAL conference that's going on in Vegas. Well, actually right now, I'll be flying out tomorrow morning, but I'm excited to see folks from all over the country talk about healthcare, technology, and everything in between.
What do you think, by the way, of conferences happening on Saturdays and Sundays as opposed to weekdays? I've seen more and more of that, and I was wondering, is that kind of the new normal?
That is actually a great point, because, I accept these things months and months in advance. And I was looking at my calendar, like, holy smokes, this is a Saturday and a Sunday. But I have seen a shift in terms of, I just got an invite yesterday, something in Florida. It was also a weekend. So this is new, at least for me. Usually folks, they, want you to fly in either Sunday or Monday, and everyone's flying out either on a Wednesday or Thursday. But I've never had this Friday to Sunday type of deal till recently. I've had 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, so I think let's keep an eye on that. I mean, it sounds like you may miss the new witty men's group, Odyssey. That's every Saturday now. That could change by the time we have the next podcast, but I'm sure that'll be a disappointment unless you're going to zoom in from wherever you.
Yeah. So tomorrow is my engagement and fire chat and all of that. Shake hands, kiss babies. But yes, I'll be on again the following Saturday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you can report back on next week's podcast a little bit about that show.
Absolutely.
Right? How e-commerce is being leveraged there.
Yes. Yes. No, 100%. All right. So for today, first of all, Wayne, thank you so much for always doing the research and making sure that our topics aren't just being pulled out of, you know what? And these are truly what people are either looking for or things that can help people with their questions. So thanks so much, Wayne, for doing the hard work. So it's easier for myself and David, who both have ADHD. So for today, we are jumping into 3 ways to find e-commerce clients. Before I jump into the questions, Wayne, why don't you lead us into this one?
Well, look, I did a little bit of research and people were constantly looking. This is one of the searches that they were doing. What methods are they using? What methods should you use? How do you use those methods to locate e-commerce clients? And what I found was it varies, number one, from one platform to the next. And number 2, it depends heavily on what it is you're trying to sell. Some things sell better on Instagram. Some things sell better on Facebook. Twitter actually has a line. So it's going to, as we are going to find out, it is going to depend what you're selling, and that tends to tell you which social media outlet are you going to use to sell that thing.
In today's rapidly evolving healthcare landscape, effective project management is more crucial than ever. Many organizations struggle with achieving their goals due to inefficiencies and lack of direction. Tony Robbins' RPM framework can transform this approach. The RPM framework provides a roadmap for success. You'll soon see how applying these principles can revolutionize healthcare project management and lead to better outcomes for everyone involved. Let's take a deeper dive into applying the RPM framework to healthcare project management. It all begins with defining your outcomes. Think improved patient care, operational efficiency, and data accuracy. These goals set the stage for transformation. Next, understand your why. This is where you align your efforts with greater purposes like patient-centered care, innovation, and sustainability. A clear why gives you direction and purpose. Now, create your roadmap. Engage stakeholders early and often. Conduct readiness assessments to gauge where you are and what you need. Develop comprehensive training programs to bring everyone up to speed. Set concrete milestones and metrics so you can measure progress along the way. And don't forget, communication is key. Regular updates keep everyone aligned and motivated. Lastly, focus on the 20% of actions that will yield 80% of the results. This principle keeps you efficient and effective, concentrating efforts where they matter most. By following these steps, you harness the power of the RPM framework to reimagine project management in healthcare. This approach transforms outcomes and drives innovation in real-world examples. By applying the RPM framework, healthcare organizations can achieve transformative results. Imagine enhanced patient care, streamlined operations, and accurate data management. These are not just possibilities, but tangible outcomes. Real-life examples showcase the remarkable successes already achieved. Increased efficiency in patient care and precise data management demonstrates the framework's profound impact. Now it's your turn to start the transformation. If you seek guidance or assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Your journey to better healthcare project management begins now. Join Healthcare Project Management Association, or HPMA, today. Your first step in this adventure is contacting Ian Slade at ian@itconsultinggroup.com. He can guide your path from there.
Perfect. And let's jump right into question number 1. Which social media platform do you find most effective for reaching e-commerce clients, and why? I think this is a continuation of what you just said. It depends.
Yeah, it's going to depend. With me, the survival store was on Facebook. I got a lot of traction with Facebook ads. And then when it came to MelodyClouds, it was Facebook, but I also got Instagram, a lot of people that showed up on Instagram. Clothing, makeup, that kind of stuff is look, the audience on Instagram it trends very heavily female. So any type of female-centric products are going to do well, or will do better, let's put it that way, will do better on Instagram. On YouTube, we are finding it's very heavily male. So your products on YouTube should be more male-centric.
That's a great observation. David, how about TikTok? I don't know if you're on that. Is that mostly, or is that not a gender question, but an age, generational question, and where is it trending towards?
I think with TikTok's certainly been expanding its range. It started very young. I think more and more seasoned professionals are using TikTok now. Then as the government regulation comes up, they threaten to change it. So, I think it really does depend on what you're selling and what types of relationships are you looking to build. I just completed my job search strategy coaching circle, and we have strategies where we're going through LinkedIn, and some of the people that are targets at the companies, while we can leverage LinkedIn to figure out who that manager of project, who leads the PMO, or who's the VP of engineering, we can then look at their LinkedIn profile. And are they active on LinkedIn? Sometimes they're not. They could be in another platform that might be. So I think just as we're again in this age of information overload, spraying and praying is going to be less and less effective. So you really got to start doing the microanalysis. And, for the bigger ticket items, that you're selling, whether it be yourself, if you're looking for that job, MelodyClouds, I think like with Wayne's company, my company too, Witty, we have many people from many industries. All humans can leverage things we have. HPMA is an example, Ian. That's going to be more of the digital health, maybe biotech industry. But right. So yeah, I think it's ever evolving. So I'd love to say, oh, do X. That's the easy one. You know, not only is that changing, I mean, I think we always see kind of 3 or 4 leading, but then it's really come down to each person. What are they using? So, but
Wayne,
hey,
anything to add to
Yeah, I am super excited that someone has found a use for LinkedIn. Dave is a very big proponent of LinkedIn, he's an expert at LinkedIn, and it always tickles me that that particular platform is being utilized at all. I have at no time have I ever found it useful for anything that I am doing, but I am very happy that Dave Layton can find a use. And by the way, I'm wondering if the people at LinkedIn know that David has found a use for their platform. I'm going to reach out to them this week and find out. Shout out to LinkedIn. I'm going to find out if they know what the use of LinkedIn is, and I'll get back to you next week.
Yeah, David actually has a whole LinkedIn presentation, so we can go through that if folks are interested.
well, listen, and hold on, sorry to cut you off, but you know, I've been on LinkedIn since 2002, 2003.
Oh wow.
I did not think anybody would be putting all their info there. Because in my older businesses, this, you know, really one of my top skills was getting the names of people that created products or worked at companies. Then I'm like, no way is everybody going to put their information on LinkedIn, right? Then it's like, oh my God, you know, while I have, you know, I think 5 or 6,000 connections, I do not, you know, connect with most recruiters unless I'm doing business with them. You know, the two of you, as I looked at your LinkedIn yesterday, Wayne, you know, I don't want to call you LinkedIn hoes or anything, but it's like, listen, you're just accepting things. There's valuable information there that you can then use to target specific people in a meaningful way you cannot do on other platforms. Now it's getting overrun with AI and it's a job search thing, and there's such a mess going on in that space. But I do think LinkedIn, you know, for a professional relationships are good. And just as I showed you yesterday, Wayne, right? I mean, you were able to kind of dial in. And then, you know, as we have Dr. Bruce, the sleep doctor, coming up on the 27th as part of the digital health community, you can now go in, invite people to that, pull all of your first connections that work in healthcare, right? Or it's at 12 p.m. Pacific. So then you could, you know, invite everybody on your connection from Oregon, because you know they'll be on lunch when that event happens. So these are just, I think, micro targeting ways that I've just found you can't do on other platforms.
Well, I didn't mean for you to go into a full-throated defense of LinkedIn. I really didn't. I'm glad that you have found a social platform that you enjoy. And you know, look, yeah, we can move on. I just, and as a matter of fact, it would be a good idea in the future. We'll probably educate our audience. We'll let Dave go, and he can do a complete rundown of what the hell is any good about LinkedIn. But let's move on.
All right. So question number 2, find clients through email marketing. Okay. What strategies do you use to build and grow your email list? And how do you personalize email campaigns to effectively target e-commerce businesses? I think especially with ChatGPT and all of the AI tools, what was your favorite thing, Wayne? Tofu, Mofu, Bofu, all of that can incorporate email marketing. So love to hear how you guys use email marketing for your businesses.
Well, I included that in the list of questions to say this. Email marketing is definitely is on its way out. It's just a question now of how much longer people are going to cling to it. We really do not, spam has kind of ruined that form of communication, and it's very similar to smoke signals at this point. It takes a lot to wade through your email. And no one enjoys it, and they'll put it off for days. And it is quickly becoming a mode of communication, much like Morse code, that we are not using as much anymore. And so that's kind of why I included it in there. So I could say, you know, it just seems like the younger audiences, the younger people are not, that is not how they are communicating. And so I wanted to say, we need to be prepared, and everyone that owns a business needs to be prepared for what that next mode of communication is.
All right. Dave, you still well versed with Morse code? It seems like we're going
Listen,
back here.
it's information overload. I think somebody said to me today that email is still the most effective. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't think it's one. It can be a piece of the puzzle until they really transform email. I don't know about either of you. You're hearing the dings now. I get bombarded with email. And so there's another one. So, so some things, I think it's just management systems. And again, I always like to ask my clients, how do you like to communicate? Text, WhatsApp, Facebook, right? There's, I think, many different things. So be in communication, and then the market you're dealing with, come up, let's start looking. This is a great way to understand from your audience, how do they like, right? Are they younger? Do they only want to use Telegram? Are they older? Do they want to use this? Smoke signals, right?
That's a good point.
It's very funny that I mentioned this, and all we hear is ding, ding, ding.
Right,
Dave is
right.
being absolutely slammed, like, by email. And that's kind of my point. Most of those, Dave is going to open up his email in just a few minutes to answer some of those, and there's going to be nothing there to answer. It's going to be people trying to sell him things. It's going to be people that he doesn't know, and they're kind of fishing around for information and stuff. And we just need to find and it's different for everyone, but there is a leaner way of communicating. And right now, email seems to be going the way of the dodo. It is on its way out. That's one man's opinion.
Yeah. What I have done, and has helped me out with all of the emails, is I have batch notifications. So I just get a summary, 4 times throughout the day. And speaking of AI tools, I'll share my AI tool of the week. I use Bluemail. So Bluemail is an, email platform that summarizes my emails for me, and I can also hit reply with AI, and then I could choose, yes, no, thanks, talk to you again, whatever. So it has helped me, pull my contacts up on top and move everyone else to the side. So
That's Bluemail.
Bluemail, yeah. So
All right, I
just,
would like to send a quick message to Bluemail. If you are
There you
looking to sponsor a podcast,
there you go.
we are very amenable to speaking with you. Please do not send us an email. I'll give you a phone number that you can reach us. It's very
Absolutely.
funny to me that we will actually, you just said the reason that email is going the way of the dodo right there. I don't know whether you realize or not, but you are actually using AI to answer your to organize and answer your email for you. So
Yep.
pretty soon, your computer is going to talk to my computer, and
That's
they'll
right.
settle it. You and I will never have to be in communication anymore. And I
Right.
don't think that that's really an effective way of handling things. I will also say this. Email can be very effective if it is targeted. In other words, if you know who you're sending the message to, and that message is directed or tailored to the individual that you're sending it to. And you pray that they actually open it and will, read it and follow through. But you mentioned tofu, mofu, and bofu, and
Right.
it strikes me we need to explain that. That's top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. And anyone that's ever worked with funnels, they're going to know what exactly that means. We'll cover that in a future episode.
Absolutely. Now, the next one, I'm actually really interested what you think about this. Finding clients through paid advertising. Now, we'll tackle the usual suspects, but here's a question I have for you guys. Radio. I hear that radio is still one of the biggest, if not the biggest ways to get to, you know, a demographic, entire populations, especially if you look at international slots. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts on just paid advertising in general, and also let's touch on, you know, radio, TV. Is that still a thing? Why are people still having ads on TV? I don't even have TV anymore. But yeah, let's start with you, Wayne. Let's start with the conventional, and then we'll go back old school.
Okay, so let's go cost effective. Cost effectiveness for, say, radio advertising, TV advertising. The old way of advertising to people would be that you walk into 100,000 people, you walk into a stadium, and you tell everybody that your message. That is the old way of advertising. It's not very cost effective. You can do what is called native advertising now. Many people, if they're watching YouTube, see Taboola is a very good example of this. It breaks down people into segments. That's the reason we're giving up all of this information, by the way. Everybody's phone just leaks information about them. And part of the good thing, the good news about that is we can be advertised to only those things that we'll be interested in. That's the way advertising is going. We're not quite there yet, but we're very, 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 very close. So basically with radio, you advertise to everybody, and that is not a cost-effective way of reaching people. What you want to do is to find you want to find your customer. How's that? You want to find the person that is most likely to buy from you, your product. And the way to do that most effectively is by advertising your product around things they are naturally attracted to. Native advertising is really the way to go when it comes to that.
Awesome. David, we've been talking, David, about having a spot on a radio in Brazil or whatever. Remember when Ken was talking about the radio shows?
In today's competitive job market, simply applying for roles isn't enough. Let me show you a smarter approach. Hi, I'm David Leeton, with over 30 years of executive search expertise. Together, we'll unlock hidden opportunities. By leveraging the Woody Network and LinkedIn, we'll target companies on the rise, where your skills truly shine. Let's explore unadvertised roles in growth-focused companies, aligning your aspirations with thriving organizations. Together, we'll craft a personalized strategy to connect you with the career opportunities you deserve. Experience a tailored approach that goes beyond traditional job hunting, paving the way for your professional success. Join me on this journey to unlock your full potential and secure a fulfilling role in a company you admire. Let's navigate the job market together, leveraging my expertise to guide you towards your dream career path. It's time to step into a future where your professional journey is defined by purpose and passion. Let's make it happen. Discover a new way to approach job hunting, tailored to your unique strengths and ambitions. Your success story starts now. When you are ready, contact us at witty.com.
Yeah. Well, look, there's different ways to advertise on radio, right? I think Ken was talking about getting on as an expert and talking about your story, right? So there's certainly ways to leverage Radio Garden, leverage the Nielsen ratings, figure out where some of these shows are you could jump on. If you do want to spend money on advertising, there's definitely ways that you could advertise through putting up more, buying ad space, like your friend Cal Sol, all of our friends does sell, or renting, buying a show for an hour, right? But I think whatever you do, have a specific URL you're advertising with, put out some type of offer. While radio advertising's great and you reach a lot of people, those numbers aren't as exact as other ways you could advertise through social. And learning from the data, now as we get this massive amounts of data, we are able to learn to utilize tools to then see how we're doing. So my AI tool of the week will be Rival Flow, because what you can do is you can go to rivalflow.ai, put in your URL, then it's going to show you who your competitors are, what articles are they writing that it's pulling them up in search higher, before you, and then giving you the information you need to help leapfrog them. But again, Google is now changing a lot of things with how they categorize and give search results, right? Which is why I think our AI tools, we're going to start talking about them weekly, right? Because some of them are going to disappear. Rival Flow, it's great now, will be great tomorrow. Anyway.
By the way, Rival Flow, if you're listening and want to advertise on a really growing podcast, we'd love to talk to you. Look,
just not on email.
Advertising the way that you guys are talking about is less radio advertising and more content advertising. So if you buy time on a radio program, you're really not buying ads. You are buying a room for content. You are creating the show and you
Absolutely.
are providing content to that radio station for people to listen to. That is more content advertising. That is never going to go away. Anytime you have a platform where you can get your message out and you can talk to large groups of people, that's going to be pretty damn effective for you. What I was referring to is these 30-second, 15-second spots where you have no idea what time of day they're going to play, or maybe you do, but you're talking, you're shouting into a crowd whether or not someone wants a glass of milk. Well, why are you shouting at a bunch of that group is going to be lactose intolerant? They can't drink your damn milk anyway. So why are you addressing them? Let's find people who have a bowl of cereal and they are looking for milk to pour into that. That's what we need to be doing and thinking about. We need to be using our money very effectively. And one of the best ways I've found to do that is going to be content marketing.
Absolutely. Speaking of content marketing, one of the things that we can do is have this recording play in those dead zones for international radios. And here it is. Almost an hour's worth of content. All right. Finding clients who are a good fit for your business. So what is your criteria, David? What do you look for your particular business, Witty?
For Witty, I look for companies that are aligning with our core values and our code of ethics, that are doing right by their employees and their customers, and that we could help and serve and help them do better. I really don't want money from anybody if I can't add value. As Witty has kind of gone over this transformation over the last couple of years, and this is our 35th anniversary this year. Many companies, would say, oh, we want to hire more women, so we're going to come to Witty and we want to do X, Y, and Z. Their plan wouldn't necessarily, match the lip service maybe one of their executives was giving because of the Me Too movement or some compliance-driven programs they were trying to do. As we went through the merger last year, as I'm sure many of you know, Witty now stands for Workforce Innovation, Trust, and Influence. Yeah, we're interviewing companies that can work with us that want to stay bleeding edge in this conversation, that are going to treat humans with respect and help them grow and train so their companies can do better. And 100%. I think that's a big part of it going forward. So I think, some of our partners want to empower their people with AI so they can all be more effective. Some of them are just looking for ways to cut people, which isn't bad. People are going to have to evolve and grow, but let's give them opportunities and let's help them get their next gig. I think one thing I've found for my now close to over 35 years, we'll say, in the industry, I still have people that I've met, in the 80s that I work with. And it's a small industry in a small world. So I think a lot of these companies that are putting in these AI applicant tracking systems and not treating people with dignity and respect, not only are they missing out on great talent that can help take their companies to the next level, but they're alienating their future customers and their future employees. So I think this is where we'll start to see, some changes as we're continuing to grow very fast from an AI standpoint.
Awesome. And Wayne, for you, MelodyClouds, you're in more than 100 countries. How do you target the right clients for your business?
Well, my clients tell me who they are. I mean, rather than have super long relationships with people, I take a look at my analytics. The customers that I do reach and they do enjoy my product, I'm able to then distill them into what is called a lookalike audience. And that's who I choose to then go and advertise and just get more of those people. You can take any group of people. Let's say, for example, we're at a baseball stadium. You want to sell more soft drinks. Okay, you know exactly where you are in the stadium. You're going to pull all of your people that are selling soft drinks into the sunny area of your stadium where it's hot. The first thing you're going to do is go out and sell a lot of popcorn, sell a lot of peanuts, get those customers thirsty, and then you're just going to absolutely flood that area with people that are selling ice cold beverages. It works every time. I mean, your customer will identify themselves very much like that patron at a baseball game that raises his hand and waves you to come over. And you can then take that group of people that's done that and create a lookalike audience and find even more of those people.
Awesome. Now that's a great story. And I think this next question leads into that too. A lot of people starting out in business, they want to price themselves low so that, they won't scare away folks. However, if you price yourself too low, it's hard to get to the right value for the services that you're rendering. So my question for you guys is, how do you find clients who are willing to pay the right rates, your rates?
Well, look, for me, I think it's finding customers that you could add value to and really getting up and working at high levels of companies, doing discovery calls, asking questions, being curious. And that'll help you expand and really get paid more because you're adding more value. What are their goals? What are they, how do we help them get their bonus? That's
For
all.
me, it's a little bit different. With MelodyClouds, I know what my cost of service is. I know what in order to break even, I know exactly how much I have to charge people. I add to that a modest sum. I learned a long time ago that, while one person would pay $40 million for a Picasso, there are people that A, can't pay $40 million for anything. B, there are people that have the $40 million and hate Picassos. So if you price things fairly, people are going to identify themselves that find the value in whatever it is you're selling. If I have a glass of water and stand on the street corner and have that glass of water in my hand, people will pass by me all day long. If I go into the middle of the Gobi Desert, it's a very hot day, every single person that passes by me is going to want that water, and they will be willing to pay whatever the hell I'm charging for it.
So being at that intersection of what the market wants, what you're good at.
Ian, know your client. Know who your client is and find those clients that are going to find the most value in whatever your good or service is. Look, there are some people that clean homes for a living. And some people, will they go in to clean a house? If they're cleaning a 2-bedroom apartment, you cannot charge them the same thing that you're going to charge a 7-room mansion or 70-room mansion, right? You're going to need a team of people. It's going to cost a lot more. So figure out what your cost for that good or service is, and then charge up, accordingly for that. And by the way, People are afraid of lowering or reducing their price or raising their price. I don't explain my price to anyone. If you find value in what I'm selling to you, buy it. If you don't, move along. And enough people move along away from me, then I get the message. If people are constantly buying it, I get that message too. I've priced it accordingly. You also can do by supply and demand. People used to be taught this in school, supply and demand. If I know that my supply of something is limited, then I know I need to maximize my profit because I'm not going to be able to get that anymore. So I'm going to need to raise my price until people stop buying it from me.
Absolutely. And I have 7 more minutes. So we're going to get the last question in here for this segment, which is find clients who are loyal. Now, both you, David, you've had clients since the 80s, and you, Wayne, you have a very low turnover rate. So you guys are actually pretty experts in this field. David, let's start out with you. How do you keep your clients not just year over year, but decade over decade?
Do you need a way to reduce your stress and anxiety? Music can have a profound impact on you emotionally and physically. Music can produce healing and allow you to deal with trauma and painful situations. With 8,000 hours of binaural beats, solfeggio, guided meditation, and 17,000 audiobooks, MelodyClouds places everything in one single place. Sign up for a 60-day trial for just $2.99, then $5.99 monthly. Our yearly membership is $59.99 for a very limited time.
You know what? Look, I think it's keeping in communication, serving them effectively, not spamming that, right? I think there's ways to communicate with people now. I know earlier and what we went over with Wayne on LinkedIn yesterday, how can we share events that are of value to people? You know, we say, you know, somebody gets an email, gets just a LinkedIn message from us. Oh, Ian invited you to this event and Dr. Bruce, the sleep doctor, is speaking there. It's like, oh, wow, I haven't spoken to Wayne for a while. Top of mind. I'm glad he's looking out for me. He's not sending me some random thing that's nothing to do with me. So I think just different targeted touches. And there's many ways and strategies around doing that, you know, can work.
I'm hearing providing value in different ways and not just
Yeah.
wasting their time with quantity. How about you, Wayne? You have a really low turnover rate. You're practically one of the best in the industry. What is your secret for keeping your customers?
Well, before I listened, I could have flipped a coin and I could have told you that my answer was going to be identical to David's. I know how to keep customers, and I know David knows how to keep customers happy. Okay. It's not rocket science. You provide an excellent product at a decent price, at a good price, and you provide good customer service when there's a problem, and people will become fiercely loyal to you. It's only when you fail in one of those 3 things that people start looking around. It's much like a spouse. You know, I've been married for 20 years. I was married before that. They didn't last that long. And I learned in that time that there are 3 things that you need to do to maintain that relationship. You need to listen to the other person and what it is they need. You need to provide it without a whole bunch of rigmarole, problems, huffing and puffing. And you need to do it well. You need to provide it to them as the best way you possibly can with some effort and a smile. And people will, doesn't matter if it's a spouse, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, they will cling to that because not everybody is willing to do that. And so I knew I could have closed my eyes and mouthed the words that David Layton was going to say to you, because it's the same thing every single person that gets good at retaining clients knows.
It sounds very straightforward. But why do you think companies big and small, right? If you look at the S&P 500, the turnaround there has never been more volatile. And
Yeah, we were
also,
talking about this yesterday.
right?
We were
Also on
talking
the
about this
small
yesterday.
business.
That is a feature built in, by the way.
Mm,
A lot of our companies, a lot of our major companies right now have taken to a completely different. It used to be that the customer was always right. Guess what? Companies now believe we don't even need to hear it. We don't even want to know. Okay? Go, come, buy it, don't. They do not care. It's baked into their business. They make the customer service either non-existent, so you have to find somebody some way to tell your problem to, or you once you get to that thing, it's on another time zone, or you've got to hold your mouth just right. They make it very difficult, and that is a feature. They know they are doing it, and everyone needs to understand and start doing business with others, and they'll get the message again. We have grown accustomed to the Amazons and to the Walmarts and to the Facebooks. You understand? We've allowed them to do this, and I don't see that it's going to change. I wish I could say that I see that there's going to be a change, but I will tell everybody that's listening to this right now, you can change it, and the way that you can change it is by taking advantage of that situation. Take advantage of that. Why don't you create a business and give good customer service? And guess what? They will change their tune, and you'll make a tidy profit in the middle of that.
absolutely. So before we go, let's do our quick 1-minute wrap up. So going through our topics here, starting off with finding clients who are loyal, do the right thing by your clients. It's not rocket science, as David and Wayne pointed out. Find clients who are willing to pay your rates. Put your rates out there. Listen to your customers. Are they just passing you by, or are they lining up? And adjust accordingly. Find clients who are good fit for your business. Well, as Wayne said, your customers will raise their hands if they see value in what you're selling. Find clients through paid advertising. David, you mentioned content. It's not about the scope and reach, it's about the content that you provide to the right people. Find clients through email marketing. Wayne, you said that this is going to be in the Smithsonian pretty soon. So we need to find better ways of communicating. And lastly, find clients through social media. And the key here is to make sure that you're putting the right message in the right platform to the right people. And with that, I think we finished right on time. David, Wayne, thank you so much. This was a great episode.